Hey, good morning, and thanks for waking up with me. Today, I'm going to touch on the coronavirus. I'm going to join that trendy thing that's going on right now, but I'm going to do it from a slightly different perspective. Um, First of all, I want to give a shout out. I've got a friend who had a liver transplant about 15, 16 years ago. I've lost track exactly how long, but it's an exceptional amount of time for a transplant, which good for her, and I'm so happy that she's had this extended time. But her transplant her liver disease is due to an overactive immune system, and her medication that keeps her going suppresses her immune system, which makes her very vulnerable to the current outbreak. And that got me thinking about some other people that are even less fortunate than she is, and that you know so many of us have a choice in reality. She had a disease that came upon her since she was a child, but many of us we slack off on our diet, we slack off on our exercise, we slack off on many things. And from what I'm hearing about the virus, it seems to be about people who have compromised immune systems and the elderly, because they're weaker, and for some reason the elderly over the youth, infants don't seem to be as affected as the elderly are. And it brings to mind, like, both my parents have late onset diabetes, so that's not great for them, and they have some other health issues and history that's not gonna put them in a good place if the virus happens to get into their area, and it's very possible that it might. So I've got that going on in the back of my mind, but rather than dwelling on the negative, I'm going to reach out to all of you to think about, don't be stocking up on junk food. In fact, don't be eating the junk food. Let's pass on that. Let's think about the nutrition. Let's think about your diet. Let's think about what you're putting in your body and what you're doing for exercise. Are you just sitting on the couch doing nothing, or are you out getting movement and getting exercise and getting things? And I realize right now with the outbreak, that might be a little scary to be out with people and things like that. So, but there's ways to get out there without being near other people. Get away from the crowds. Get out on your own, and get your respiratory strong, and eat good food. Stay away from the soft drinks and from the sweetened goods and the processed foods and things like that. And really think about your health, which. I'm kind of hopeful, and this is it's a little backhanded comment in some respects, that the outbreak will be a good thing for us in some ways as a species on the planet, and that we'll think twice about what we're doing with our bodies, the things we take for granted, and the time that we might have here. Because I think it's really important, and we shouldn't wait for something like this to remind us that our bodies and how we take care of them is up to us. That's our responsibility. We have that for ourselves. Or if you have children, then you're responsible for your children and for their health. And here in the United States, obesity is tremendous. It's a huge issue, and it's a constant problem that affects our health system overall. And it's a big part of the trends. It's in the advertising market. How they're peddling so much bad food for us that we know is not good for us, and we all hear about it, and we all just keep buying it and keep using it. Myself, I drank Coca-Cola for decades in heavy amounts, and it was just late last year that I finally took a break from it and finally have it out of my system. And now I'm doing a bunch of things. I'm doing green smoothies every morning, and some other things that I've started doing, which is part of the reason what led me to doing this channel, because there's so many things that I'm starting to take responsibility for in my life. And I mentioned that in my first video, that this is just how I think, but also what I'm doing, how I'm going to live my life, and how I'm moving forward, and how I'm seeing people around me, and how I'm seeing myself, for that matter. And so it's a little bit of reflection, but mostly it's some encouragement for folks like you. And if there's anything I can do out of doing this video, it's to make other people's lives better than where you are right now. And not because I've given you the direction to do, but because I've gotten you to think about it and to evaluate your own life. Because I think you should live your own life the way you feel is right. But you really, at the same time, you owe it to yourself to evaluate, how are you living that life? Are you doing the best you can for yourself and for your children and for your friends and for your family and for your boss or for your coworkers or for your employees if you happen to own the company? Are you doing the best you can in all these areas? Are you taking care of yourself? If you get sick tomorrow, it might happen, and then what's going to go on from there? Have you put yourself in a position where you are at the best health you could be to fight this virus or any other illness that might come your way? So if you haven't, then I'm going to strongly encourage you to, to step up on that, and get out and get some exercise. Spend a little less time in front of the television, or a little less time watching YouTube, for that matter, or surfing the net for all these other things. But actually get out and do things, and not be sitting around on your butt and talking about it and eating fast foods and oily things and all these things that will drag you down and all this stuff. Do a little bit of homework. If you're on the internet, do some homework, do some research. If you're on YouTube, there's some great videos out there. There's some fantastic nutritionists out there with some great information. I don't care if you want to be vegan, or if you want to be keto, or if you just want to eat better. Do one, but just do it. And I think that's going to be the most proactive thing. The other thing that I'm going to bring up here, since I'm talking about the coronavirus and some of the habits and some of the things we're going to have to do to survive it, is not just our health, but there's no toilet paper in this town that I can tell of. And fortunately, I just happen to have enough storage space here in the house that I've had plenty kind of in the backup. But it makes me wonder when I'm going to be able to buy more. And so I'm already evaluating, what I would do to change my life to do that. And would that be a permanent change? For example, if I, when I go to the bathroom, men are lucky, if we're just going to urinate, then we just simply shake and, put it away and go wash our hands and go about our business. If you're doing something else, then, are you using tons of toilet paper? Can you use less? If you're doing it in the morning, can you, use a minimal amount? Simply step up and get in the shower? Or do you have a bidet in your house? Or, do you have something like that? And, and if you're a woman, by the way, and if you're just urinating, think about maybe just using a washcloth in your house. So you're using less toilet paper, and you're using the paper for the times you have to have toilet paper, or that it makes more sense. And I realize this is getting a little personal here, but isn't that kind of what I'm doing anyways? I'm kind of getting personal. Before I'm getting inside your head, and now I'm getting inside your bathroom. That's, I'm doing this because I'm thinking about how we're all going to take care of each other and how we're going to protect each other. Because the reality is, those of us who are using excessive amounts of paper or excessive amounts of products out there that that the consumers need, those are the things that people are going to need. Those are the things that are going to fall short on. That's why people are hoarding on it right now. And if you're taking more than what you really need, because there are other alternatives, just simply by changing your lifestyle, then maybe that's something you should consider. And maybe that's, I bumped my camera. And maybe that's what we should, take on. Maybe this is an opportunity in some respects to clean up our lifestyle and maybe be a little bit more responsible about ourselves, and not waste our own money for that matter. Something that we may take down the road after this is over, after science has figured out a quick cure for this, hopefully, and how to deal with it, or the best treatments, or whatever it is that they're going to do. So that's my message to you today. And better stay in the light there. So I'm glad I got it out to you. There'll be another one coming up, and I may touch on this a little bit more, but give some thought to what I just said. It's scary out there, and you should take it serious. And we don't know where this is going to go. And we have very few cases in the United States so far, but the reality is we have very few tests have been completed at this point. And that's the most scary part of all, because we don't know what we don't know. And that might be what brings us down. So take this serious. Take my thoughts today very serious, and have a great day, and hopefully a better tomorrow. If you've subscribed already, thank you very much. If you don't, maybe think about what I'm doing here, and it only takes a few minutes to listen to my little rant for the day, and I'll give you a quick little stream of consciousness and see where you go with it. All right, thanks very much. Talk to you soon.